Hey everybody, it's CR with Everyday Life in Arizona. It's another beautiful hot day here. I hope it's beautiful and enjoyable where you are. This is another installment in my golf cart rehab project. If you haven't watched any of my other videos in this series, I have a 2007 Fairplay golf cart that I bought new 18 years ago. And I originally wanted to just get it back working again for me and my grandson. But it's turned into a pretty fun project for me. I haven't really had time in my life up until now to have a hobby or to enjoy projects. But this is kind of turned into a thing. And I've done several things to it. You can look at what those are on my different videos on the channel. But today's video is about me learning more from when I just did a couple things to it 6 weeks ago. I updated all of the electrical system. I added a second DC step-down converter from 48 to 12 and several accessories with it. And as I increase my knowledge on the electrical system, I now want to go back and improve the wiring and the cable management that I did on those early projects a few weeks ago. So that's the goal for today. I have found myself having 5 connections to each of the 2 terminals on the lithium battery. And they're secure and they're covered and it looks fine and it certainly works fine. But as I added that 5th item just a week or so ago, I thought, man, that's a lot of connections back to the 2 terminals. So I did some research and I found out about these power distribution bars. And that's what I've purchased. And that's what we're going to do next. I'm going to take some of the wires off of that terminal connection at the battery and run them through these terminal power distribution bars to spread it out, make it more organized, to make it safer, and have some fun too, actually. Let me show it to you. If you don't know what these are, that's it. 4 lugs connected. And this is an M8, which is 5/16 studs, which matches the stud that's in my lithium battery. These also come in an M6, which is 1/4 of an inch, and probably other sizes, but I think those are the 2 as far as I can tell. I chose the M8 size, the 5/16, because that's the, as I mentioned, that's the size of the terminal screws in my battery. And that's what all the O-rings are, the O-ring connectors are that are fastened to it. And I didn't want to have to cut the heads off and reattach a 1/4 inch ring. So I suspect the 5/16 is probably better because it's bigger, maybe carries the load better. But really my primary reason was I wouldn't have to change out the O-ring heads as I moved them off of the battery terminal and onto this lug, onto this distribution bar. So that's what we're going to do today. I'll show you in a minute what's down on the golf cart and those 5 connections. And then the vision and the goal is to clean them up and spread them out over this. Come along with me. I'll show you how it goes. This is my setup right now. And I've got, as I mentioned, 5 connections to each side of the battery. And those connections are, there's 1 connection on each side for the DC motor. There's a second connection on each side for the controller / solenoid routing. The 3rd connection is the lithium onboard battery charger, which powers it back up. The 4th connection on each side is the power to the second DC converter that I referred to. And the 5th thing I added just recently was the lithium battery charge display. I use my app to check on the state of charge, but I wanted it as a backup in case for some reason Bluetooth wasn't working. And so I just mounted that bad boy right there. I know it's not in the dash and you can't easily look at it, but that's not what I wanted or needed. I didn't want to run all the wire underneath the cart and back up to the dash and go through all of that when I use the app. But there it is right there. And if I need to double check the state of charge, I can. So that's the 5 things that are attached to the battery terminal post. I'm going to install these right here. As I mentioned, I found some mounting hardware I believe will work. And I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to do the negative on the left and the positive on the right here, just to keep them aligned with where they are right now. And these are the wires that I'm going to use to bring them down. I did sand these down with some metal sandpaper to make sure the connection was good. All right, I've got my ratchet and a open end box wrench on the other side. Okay. Mm, perfect. Perfect. I do want to take this guy off. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. We'll start with the negative. And see all of that? That's what I'm trying to clean up a bit. So there were the 5 things. But these guys I'm going to pull out. These are original, 18 years old. They look good. I may get some, maybe go over there and get that steel sanding. And since I've got them off, I'll clean them up a bit. But they're going to go right back on. And this is, now that I look at it, it's kind of like overkill. That's okay. I'm sure there were smaller power distribution bars, but that's okay. I want to have some fun too. Here we go. Let's clean these up a bit. These were connected to those lead acid batteries for 18 years. Look at that. That's how you prevent problems too. Trying to do it the right way. Okay, that was worth the minute or two that took. I'll do it to the positive side as well. Let me further decouple these. Okay, now we'll do the same to the positive side. All right, those look great. Don't like that. See, this is why I'm going back, because 6 weeks ago I was doing it for the first time. And though I prepared and tried to learn, I still didn't do it as great as I could have or should have. I want this to go straight down to here. I'm going to take this off. I just decided in mid-installation to move the positive side over. I had it right here, and it was getting a little tight for the wire management. So I moved it over to an available hole that I've got, just to make it a little bit simpler. I still need to screw down the other 2 sides, but I wanted to get the placement generally correct, so I'm glad that I did that. And I am going to bring this down to here. And the red down to there. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'll use these back up here at the end. All right, let's get this thing put together. That's going to go to the negative battery. This is going to go to the positive battery. Well, no, maybe not, actually. Let's see. Did I put it on the end? I'm going to put it on the end just to take up some of the extra distance in the cable. You got to learn as you go. Or at least I do. I'm sure there's professionals that do this and they had a clearer vision when they started, or would have had once started. But see, like I don't like the way this wire is wrapped around that wire. So I'm going to take it off. I'm going to bring it over here and feed it over from this side so it's better. Look at that. I like that a lot better. Flat washer, block washer, and the nut. Okay, let's stop and look a minute. Look at that. Look at that. I'm pretty pleased with that. Pretty pleased with that. Let's stop a moment and just make sure that we're good. Black battery coming in. Charger coming in. Negative DC motor. Negative controller and solenoid. And two accessories. The one powering the DC reducer and one powering the voltmeter. Positive side. Lithium battery coming in. Charger positive coming in. DC positive and DC motor positive and positive controller coming in, meter and reducer. That's it. I like the wire management of it. I'm going to tighten them up. All right, the vision is coming together. Let's tighten these bad boys down. Make sure they're good and solid. You don't want loose connections. No bueno. I like that a lot. Now, let's see how this fits on the sides. Oh, yeah, baby. Look at that. Look at that. I love that. Can you see that? Now, for the positive side, I love that too. Now let's put these protectors on right here. Nice and firm. You don't want those guys shaking around. All right, let's stop and take a look at it. Let's stop and take a look at what we got. Well, the meter's on. That's good. Same percentage it was before, 96% state of charge. 53.2 volts. That's great. All right, check it out. Let's tidy this thing up some more. We'll do the negative bundle together. Trim that up. And I'll put one more around this group right here to tidy them up. All right, I like it. My friends, that's it. Done. You've been following along, but I'll show you again. The two leads coming down and then the other wires being distributed across the power distribution bar. That's it. It looks good. Better than all five of them being up here, I think. Somebody tell me in the comments, did I really help myself or did I just spend the last hour and a half having some fun and goofing around. Certainly hopefully I didn't make it worse. If I'm if I made something worse, please tell me. But I don't think so. I appreciate everybody hanging out with me for a few minutes. And hopefully you learned a few things too at my expense as I learned. But I appreciate everybody staying till the end. Hope you're having fun with your golf cart, your projects, whatever it is you do to have fun. Take care, everybody. I'll see you in the next video.